Hello, welcome to Role Playing Public Radio. This is RPPR episode something. We don't know what the number is because I don't know exactly when this is coming out because this is our curtain call, our post-mortem for Delta Green Impossible Landscapes. So if you're listening to this, the entire campaign has been released, all 16 episodes, and yeah, we have the cast here, and we're going to be talking about the campaign, what we liked, how I changed it, what the players did, what they thought was going on, and what actually happened, and all that juicy back behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, first off, I do want to thank my cast for this campaign tremendously. You were great. You should all deserve all the applaud. The huge thank you to Maddy, Thad, Rob, and Faye. Hello, all of you.
Greetings.
G'day.
Hey.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't know when this is coming out? It's at the end of the masquerade, as we all take off our masks.
At midnight. Yeah.
All is revealed.
It's happening now and forever. Don't worry about it.
It's always happening now.
So obviously, hopefully if you're listening to this is going to be a lot of spoilers for the campaign. It is nothing but spoilers, so please listen to the campaign first. But if you're looking for advice on running surreal horror, as Impossible Landscapes calls itself, this hopefully will have some advice for that, because this is a very challenging campaign to run, and I hope it was a very fun game to play. But
it was,
fucking ruled.
Hell yeah!
But it's also probably was a little challenging for all of you as well, I imagined, because feeling lost and not knowing what to do is like that's what it's trying to do. But there's I'm lost, I don't know what to do, and I'm having fun, or I'm lost, I don't know what to do, and I'm frustrated. And
I mean, it always felt like there was a thread to pull on, regardless of whether or not that thread went anywhere. There was no shortage of paper bags for the tigers in the cage.
Yes. There's actually another layer to it, though, because there's definitely a level where a player or player group can be kind of lost and confused, but enjoying themselves in this campaign, that would not necessarily reach the level of being entertaining to listen to for an audience. So I don't think you actually give yourself quite enough credit, Ross. Like, this is a campaign that is hard to run and then additionally hard to make into like good actual play content. And I was trying to be conscious through it of role-playing choices I could make that made the radio experience better. And I think that like all the other players did a really good job, and you did an excellent job facilitating it, because I do think that there are certainly ways that this campaign could play out that would be fun to play and very boring to listen to. And I, perhaps in hubris, think that we didn't do that. I think that we made a pretty good show.
Yeah, I've been listening back to some of the episodes, and I do say, even though I've played it, I still find it pretty entertaining. I'm not exactly a vain person. It is just compelling content, and I think everybody's characters and the way that they played them really contribute to that, especially because there was so many good fucking, like, just the dynamic of everybody, like individually and then as a team, and then, mix and matched. It was just a great cast, GM included.
Yay. I this book came out actually in June 2021, like 2 years ago. And I got a copy early on, and people were, as soon as it came out, asking me to run this. And it took me a year.
Just finished reading it.
Yeah. And it took me a while to like figure out who to cast for it. Like who is I going to put in? Because, there's a good number of it, and of people available, fortunately, for actual play stuff. And so it took me until like December of last year, December 2022, for I really finalized, hey, would you like to do this? And of course, I knew, actually, Thad, you were my first choice, because like you're a rock solid player, and you obviously, I and Faye, I believe, were all playtesters for the original campaign as well.
Yeah.
Us
three plus Caleb.
It made the early games so like
increasingly surreal because I had these like wisps of memory. I assume Faye is probably in a similar situation where like I remembered that I would remember things like in the middle of us being reconfronted by stuff, or it was it's so strange. But I'm so like flattered that's the case though, because I honestly, like, I'm very self-critical about everything in my life. So the fact that that you would stack me up with the crew here still is wonderful. Because, man, I too have been re-listening. I only just now got up to end of episode or beginning of the time jump, and man, like I think maybe just because we've been in it for so long, I forgot how early like we had such a good. Like the characters established so early, and the ways that they changed over time, just
it's good. It's good.
So good.
Yeah.
not to break my arm patting everyone on the back, but like it's been real good the last couple of days to be catching up with those early games.
And yeah, that was definitely 100% because we did a really good session 0, I think, for everybody to just sit and talk about who our characters were and how they came into Delta Green and how they approached things. And so everyone had an idea of who they were going to play before we started. Which, for a Delta Green one-shot, you don't really need to do, but I think for a campaign, it really helps because a one-shot is more like, what is the monster of the week? What is the thing out to get us? But in a campaign, you actually, have time to find out who these people are and why they're throwing themselves at this impossible thing that's going to destroy them. And
it's the mindset that I always like with Delta Green campaigns is at the start you want to paint a clear picture of who the character you're playing is at their prime or like healthy, and then the campaign is about fucking watching them unravel.
Make sure everyone knows what they have to lose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the Delta Green structure in a nutshell. That's a really good way to summarize, because like, a lot of role-playing games are about like your character growth, like as you go from a level 1 little, novice to a level 10 or 20 badass, right? But like Delta Green is like, I survived. I got through it with only this much trauma and hurt, and like that's I'm the winner. I survived. Like that's what you if you don't take up that much sanity and permanent physical damage, you've done well in Delta Green. Like,
I scraped just below my previous quality of life, therefore I won.
Yeah, exactly.
The prize for winning is more trauma.
Yeah. And then like Rob, I was really happy to hear that you were interested to check this campaign out, because I know, from the games you've run for us, I figured you would be a good player as well as since you're a good GM.
Rarely get to do it, but I do enjoy doing so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a super picky player, and I didn't really have complaints about this, which is like a really high honor. I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to actually running games for me, because I'm so picky.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I that is very high praise. I know. Yeah, as a fellow, mostly forever GM, I know what it's like. I am lucky. And then Maddy, of course, I know you're a really good role player, and every game I've seen you play, you've been great. And because you're you have that rare player challenge of like, yay, my character suffered. Yay, my character had a cool death. It's great,
Yeah, drive him like you stole him. That's kind of how I go. Yeah, it's no, like this was definitely scary as shit for me. I don't think I've ever played a campaign this long, especially in Delta Green. But like, I think for me, it's like very much have that, like, I'm newer to role playing than most y'all, but like I have that, of course Maddy's on this, the GM's girlfriend thing. And it's like, I really hope people enjoy what I think I did okay, but it's like that's never not in the back of my mind.
Yeah, how dare you undersell yourself? It's the GM's spouse.
Yeah, exactly. I will divorce him if that wasn't on this thing.
Oh no.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, like from the beginning of the time that you would like pop in on dead channels, like I immediately assessed you as like, yes, Maddy is like, they're a very good player, like would be glad to have them on something at some point.
Oh, Thank you.
I think it also really showed in the campaign. I'm not sure if it's what you set out to do or if it's something that you kind of noticed as a deficiency, but you positioning Ryan as like the very down to earth straight man in a very literal sense was perfect. Because it was like I feel like we had a couple characters, especially Yersinia, who would start talking about shit like semiotics and like the real and philosophy and all that shit, and then Ryan would be like, guys, it's just a bad thing, okay? It's fine.
And I think it was definitely like you needed someone in the group to do it, and it made the most sense for me at least. And I can easily like just tilt Ryan slightly and then keep going that way. Like
it worked great. It worked really well. I enjoyed Ryan a lot, and I think Ryan was kind of a linchpin, honestly, because it was like with the three of us, with Jurgen, the killer, Marley, the whipped dog or whatever, and my character. I feel like it would have been a very different kind of game without Ryan. So yeah,
Ryan's normalcy actually gave us license to get nuttier with it.
Exactly.
Would have tonally worked to maintain a consistent emotional.
You need a straight man,
That's what it is. It resets the stakes. Like it lets you escalate and de-escalate and escalate again to maintain like interests.
Yeah, it was also like just an extremely fun role to play. Like hearing you guys monologue for a while and be like, "Oh, no,"
or "Hear me out on this. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I think my favorite word with that is like, "I simply wouldn't do my mother." It's like, yes.
I think the little almost meme-worthy tendency that developed toward the latter half or maybe even third of the campaign for Ryan to constantly find himself uncomfortably witness to relationship drama.
Yes, I was like, I noticed it happened like the first time, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I did this to Ryan again and again?
Happened again and again. It was very, very good.
Just the image of him trapped in a car, like not again.
Straightest man in the world, party to messiest lesbian drama in a red Jaguar.
Yeah, no, God, I really do agree about the grounding.
I'm really stressed out. I better go talk to my more normal friend, the Cormac McCarthy character.
My more normal friend, the guy who stole a body out of a morgue.
Yeah. It's that grounding that Ryan gave because this is a campaign that also can get lost. I think because it's surreal horror. It is about things that happen that do not make sense, and trying to have the mind reconcile the impossible, and the inability to do that. And that's the horror from it. And so having someone who's very down to earth and very centered and very realistic helps keep the campaign from flying away to where the problem is, when you get too surreal, it becomes nonsense, it becomes noise. And you still want to have that pattern there, that illusion of logic, of structure, at least. So that again, that creates that tension that is really interesting. And that's sort of like the knife's edge where Impossible Landscapes is being like weird, but not too weird. And that was great. And because I love how you all were picking different archetypes, really, and archetypes that worked well with each other. And personally for me, like I think that Delta Green, like the Impossible Landscapes, my love of it grew from before it became a book, because originally this was a scenario in Delta Green Countdown that I ran multiple times at like conventions and for RPPR night floors. And I love that idea of horror that wasn't body horror, that wasn't like religious, Christian demons coming to kill us, or like alien horrors that kill you and that's it. Which a lot of other Delta Green and other things have. It was unique in a a genre that I love. So when the book came about, I finally figured out, oh wait, all four of them, that would be perfect. And we started, and then we had that session 0, which let's take a look at our notes here, because I actually did have a notes for session 0. Maddy as a veteran EMT, but someone who saw the elephant, who saw impossible, horrific things. Then Thad as an FBI agent crisis negotiator, believes in the cause, trust the recruiter.
For
Faye,
a while.
For a while. Faye is a cryptographer, linguist / gun nut, defense contractor, blackmailed into working for Delta Green. Rob is a criminal, undercover Fed, replacement. We also had replacement characters, because I wasn't sure how you were going to play, and I am really glad the same characters survived the entire campaign, but certainly in the first half of the campaign, your characters could have all died pretty horrific deaths pretty early on, because there are quite a few things.
But I'm pretty sure I came really goddamn close to dying a time or two.
Yeah, the lion
I was
was
gonna ask, what in the early game, if it's not too derailing, I would love to know what we brushed against that could have killed us.
Well, I know. Let's see here. In the night floors isn't too bad per se. Obviously, messing up setting the building on fire. I got advice from Caleb on how to burn a building down. Actually, Caleb Stokes.
That's admissible.
Surprise me.
Yeah. I get because obviously you could have messed that up pretty easily. But the night floors don't have a whole lot of instant death traps, at least that
it seems like the most likely way to lose an agent to the night floors, at least from my cursory reading over it, is hitting 0 sand and just disappearing into the night floors.
That's omnipresent. If any of you hit 0 sand, you're gone. If you attacked the marionettes that showed up, that would have been really bad. The marionettes are very deadly
not touching the puppets. I did not want to know what the puppets did, and we never found out, and I am grateful for that. The clown was enough.
Yeah, so actually the first act, which is Night Floors, isn't too bad. Now, I did add 2 major elements to that, the ghouls and then mentioning Club Apocalypse, because it takes place in New York in the 90s, and canonically Club Apocalypse / the Fate are active in New York at that time. And if you don't know who they are, they're basically, what if organized crime was also a cult that had real magic and could summon monsters to kill people instead of just shooting them? And also it was run by possibly an avatar of Nyarlathotep. Stephen Alziz is basically wink wink, not Nyarlathotep. Definitely a human guy. Yeah.
Jurgen did eventually get his in to Club Apocalypse.
Yeah. And then the ghouls are also active in New York in the 90s, and so I think ghouls I just think they're neat. So I just wanted also something for your characters to know about and have access to. I wanted to see what you did with it. I honestly just threw it out there to see. You could have ignored them entirely, hated them, but I was like, well, let's just see what they do with that. But yeah, normally a lot of Impossible Landscapes is sort of written from the perspective that only Carcosa is real. Nothing else is unnatural. Nothing exists except the play. Therefore, there's no ghouls. There's no other cults. It's all Carcosa. But yeah, once you get to Act 2, though, that's when things get really. There's a lot of death traps. The first one of which is the lion, which is the monster in Barbas's house that crit failed an attack against Jorgen.
As I recall, a crit miss was the only thing that kept me alive there.
Let me just take a look, see what
while
it does.
You and Ryan were fleeing, Ryan missing a shoe.
Oh my god, stepping in the glass, lighting your shoe on fire.
Yeah, just John McClaning.
Well, it would not have necessarily killed you, but it has 2 attacks, one Impale, which I think it was does 1d8 plus 2 damage, armor piercing 3. But it could also ram you for 2d6 damage, armor piercing 2.
Do you have lethality or something?
No, not that, but you can only hurt it. It's incredibly durable, is its thing. It's made of steel. Every attack that hits and rolls an odd number in its damage inflicts only 1 damage. An odd lethality roll inflicts 1 damage. An even lethality roll inflicts 2d10 damage. It's completely immune to fire. So, it is very, very dangerous.
I love that it's completely immune to fire. The one thing that we always relied on.
Mm-hmm.
We did. God, that's hilarious. That's what we tried to do, and it wouldn't have even fucking worked.
That was one of the big moments in Barbas's house where my memory of the beta campaign was just like, no, I can't say shit about. And it was great that we had naturalistically split off to where Faye and I weren't there.
So I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah, so it was just Rob, and then eventually, you two were both there together. So yeah, I figured Faye also remembered the lion. And it's just like biting my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, this question has been on my mind for the 30 years that Dennis Duttweiler was working on this.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck does the salt circle do in Barbas's house? Was the salt circle even there in the actual one? Because I remember playing the beta with you, Caleb, and Thad, and feeling like stepping into the salt circle was a really bad idea when Caleb did it.
Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't. Let me look it up. There it is. So he definitely. No, God, why is it doing that? It's just there. It is. Nope. I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
The question remains unanswered.
You heard it here first.
Do you remember what room that was in? Was it in the top floor or the? It was probably in the top floor.
I really don't.
Because he climbed in the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the line's in the downstairs area, and he activates if you get too close to it. So Jurgen basically managed to see a lot of the stuff in the house without waking up the lion, because if you just go through the front floor, you're going to wake it up before you find anything.
I feel like we activated
I
feel like we activated the lion pretty early in the beta thing, because I think we went in through the front, didn't we?
After Jurgen, he climbed up. He was literally second story man.
No, I remember that. I was just trying to remember what we did in the beta test one.
Yeah,
because I feel like that happened faster.
Yeah, that recording's on. I have that recording somewhere. I'll have to find it because I never remember send it to Dennis. Let's see here. Each agent. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one because there's the scribe. Here it is. Etched into the floor. Well, there's a meter wide seal. It's not in salt. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, I feel like it must have changed then.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah. Etched into the floor beneath the futon is a meter wide seal. An agent with a cult recognized it's connected to demonology. It's a summoning circle for Marbas, which is Barbas's demonic name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. After all these years, finally, I've opened my bottle. Now I can disappear.
User disconnected from your channel.
Yeah. So the second big death. The second big death trap for the second chapter is actually contacting Delta Green for help. And I sort of foreshadowed this a little bit. Because they still believe in the static protocol. So if they realized you had been infected or contacted, by the king, influenced by the King in Yellow, they would have said, "Oh, come to this abandoned shopping mall for a debriefing." And if you look in the table of contents, that's called the let's see here, the Trevelino Mall ambush. They have 6 Delta Green agents with fully automatic weapons waiting for you, and they just wait for you to come in and hose you down. It's possible. It's possible to survive it, but it's 6 really determined people with good skills trying to kill you. So, those are the 2 big ones before you get in Dorchester House. Well, it depends. Like, the thing is, it's so open ended. If you go to the nurse's house, her house is an entire shit show. It's basically it's as messed up as Barbas's house, and you totally avoided that the entire campaign.
I almost went there.
Yeah, I wanted to go there, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
That was a to-do item that never got crossed off. So wow, we bullet dodged.
So by the way, Maddy, you never talked to the teenager because
I read that I was like, God fucking damn it. But it makes it better that I wasn't talking to a fucking teenager though. Yeah,
she's murdered her entire family, or her entire family is gone, but she has a cloak that allows her to appear as any of them.
What?
She's all of her family. Yeah.
That rules.
Yeah. And that was a whole thing. You could have investigated and found out and like been horrified by all the horrific shit in that house. And you just, it's like, no.
I just feel better I wasn't stalking a teenager.
Yeah, it's better than the teenager's dad.
Words to live by.
There was a yeah, it's going.
It looked like if you like went there and you could get the cloak if you I assume killed her or whatever, like, and that lets you become your bonds. And all of us are so bonded to each other that would have been hilarious.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a
bond for life.
Yeah.
There. I mean, Jurgen doesn't give a shit, but
yeah,
he actually does, just not to the level of bonds, I suppose.
What is it called? I think it's called The Cloak of Truth. Yeah, it's on page 342 in the book, and it's got its own stat write-up. That's how cool it is. I think I did pull. No, that's another thing. But yeah, the you can never find Dahlon's house because he doesn't. He stays in the Dorchester house the entire time. But actually, you could have tailed any of the other staff members that left, and they all had a weird, fucked up thing that they were doing. In fact, you could have found an entrance into the Whisper Labyrinth early, because one of them basically goes to this burned out car in the middle of a field, opens up the trunk, and goes in, and doesn't come every night, and doesn't come up until morning, because those are just doors that lead to the Whisper Labyrinth.
So wait, if we found the Whisper Labyrinth, then like what?
No, it's specifically fucked up so that you can't find the way out. It's just a trap.
Okay, so it just kills you then. It doesn't like...
No, it just terrifies you and forces you to let's see here.
We accidentally clip through the wall and sequence break the campaign.
Let's see, you could have found your bottle, but yeah. That's about it.
I wanted that so bad. I wanted to find mine so bad. I'm disappointed in Marley for not finding it for me.
Hey, folks, today we're playing Impossible Landscapes. We're doing a tool-assisted soul vivisection.
Yeah, let's see here.
Tool-assisted transubstantiation.
So by session 3, which is the beginning of chapter 2, +1 corruption for Yersinia for the following acts: for seeing Abby in the photo, for reading the Secreto Librarium, and reading World Without Doors. -1 corruption for breaking the radio. That was Jorgen because it was playing the music. -1 corruption Marley for advising to ignore the books. And
don't read, it's bad for you.
-1 corruption for all for burning down the building. And yeah. A lot of this is just okay. So in session 4, here's what I have.
Yersinia's failings.
Yeah, Yersinia, here's what you got. +1 corruption for the following acts: staying on the case, got the red book, finding help me in an invitation. It was session 4 was the beginning of chapter. Anyways, +1 Yersinia for decoding the request exemplar. +1 Yersinia anagrams. -2 Yersinia for the bond with Marley.
I'm a very positive influence and nothing else.
And nothing else. I'm so good at getting corruption. I am so glad I decided to play a cryptolinguist.
You're like a truffle pig for corruption.
All right, go and find our damnation. Go find it.
And also, I would attempt the way you were indicating. Oh, I want to be the one to like take the place and stop the spread of the King Eel. Be a more like, okay, well, static protocol exists. They can always recruit new people.
No, that was the thing. Yersinia I wasn't exactly angling for a good end. I was angling for a bad end for Yersinia, but like morally, cosmically, a slightly better end for the rest of the world.
Cool. Let's see here. Marley, on session 4, you got +1 corruption for staying on the case, +1 for helping Yersinia get the book, and then -2 for developing a new bond. Ryan didn't get anything because Ryan was bad at hiking.
Default.
I remember that. I remember listening to that where Ryan was so pissed about all of this stupid walk up for my stupid mental health.
Ryan failing to gain sanity from being in nature.
When do I feel better? This sucks.
Nature's bullshit. I'm gonna hang out with Jurgen and figure out how to sneak.
Yeah.
Gonna go watch
There was-
Mission Impossible with Jurgen.
There's this great moment where Rob, like, I think Maddy was saying, like, well, yeah, Ryan's gonna learn stealth from watching movies, and it was like this brief aside of like, yeah, sitting there with Jurgen, and Jurgen's just like, that's not how you would do that. That's not how you would do that. This is all wrong.
I love that.
You know, surgeons and lawyers and stuff can't watch certain TV shows and movies, and I assume that criminals also can't.
Yeah. Let's see, Jurgen, you got +1 for showing your therapist the L sign. Not
oh
cool.
God.
Yeah.
I remember this. You just went full bore on the poor schmuck, and he believed you.
You did lose 2 corruption for healing some sanity, actually. So if you'd made those checks there, Ryan, you would have been fine, or you would have, yeah.
I feel like there's a short story there somewhere about like a therapist just slowly losing their mind and
Just their
disappearing.
life fucking ruined.
Yeah. +1 Jurgen for studying the unnatural, and another +1 for opening the little red door in Barbas's house and seeing Yersinia from 20 years ago. Let's see here.
What's wrong with that? It's always good to see Yersinia.
Let's see here. Session 5. +1 Ryan for accepting a copy of the play and flashback to the buskers singing "I Saw the Side." Let's see here. +1 Yersinia opening the satellite phone, opening it up from the inside and seeing it was made of dirt. The book has a whole thing about you just feed all kinds of orders and crazy shit to them if they keep listening to the sat phone. Like,
so the phone is just a red herring device.
No, the phone will actually like, we need some guns. You'll get some guns. Yeah.
But little do you know, it's orc technology.
It'd be like old Tommy guns used in murders in the 1930s or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Like fucking the weapons that we found when we were in Carcosa kind of shit. Just like
E.B. Cooper's pistol.
Let's see. +1 to Marley for accepting the book. +1 to Jurgen for looking for hidden rooms, doors at Dorchester House, and finding them. Basically, one of the principles of this campaign is to listen to your players and just agree with whatever they think it is. Especially the more corrupted they are, the more likely things will just happen because they think it's true.
Is that why you kept asking me, like, what's your sanity? Is that why you were like, your sanity?
Oh, in the last session? Yeah. Well, in the last session, that's because the Gallery of Shades has a mechanic for an agent becoming obsessed and never wanting to leave.
All right, we figured that out.
Yeah.
We neatly sidestepped that issue.
Yeah, with some drugs, thankfully.
Drugs, the solution, the cause and solution to all life's problems.
So in session 6, you were in the Dorchester House, the night version of the Dorchester House, which is the big, like, it's the whole basis of the second chapter is that you're not a Delta Green agent, you've been a mental patient this entire time. That sort of flip reversal. Obviously this is when things really get off the rails. Let's see, -1. Let's see, corruption -2 for Yersinia, actually, for burning the book and for the extraction of the sample from you.
My Patsu, I wanted that back.
Yeah, well,
I really wanted to find Friend again. Like, I would have, Marley would have done some shit to that guy.
Ryan, you did get some point of corruption for going to the encounter group. You gained some sand and gained some corruption. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Something as wholesome seeming as the encounter group?
I don't understand.
I love that, by the way. Like Ryan getting hooked on that and Marley just being like, my one professional thing is that's a cult. Don't fuck with that cult.
Wait, Nexium is what?
Yeah.
But I wanna.
Let's see. Also, Ryan, you did +1 for saying those patients aren't real. That was. Then Marley, you took a scalpel. That was not great. And you ate a bug. You ate one of the gold bugs.
Yum.
That was another one.
And no one caught me. No one ever found out about that.
I have a note for this session that it just says, "Now that's a slippery floor." Because we were just failing the entire.
That's the fight where Jurgen almost died.
Yeah, we had
where it all began.
I forgot about our fucking Daredevil hallway fight. Like,
man, just
So yeah, that's another thing. That's the finale chapter 2 is escaping, and the confrontation with the clown is like a big thing for it. It's one of the few fixed points in the entire campaign. Like the Night Floors getting to Dorchester House and then escaping Dorchester House.
So a lot of players find out what the clown does.
Someone.
Oh, they all like. I mean, yeah, a lot of players do. And it definitely could result in at least one player kill or entire TPK in some cases, apparently.
Yeah,
because it does lethality. Yeah, it does lethality. Also, everybody but Yersinia got 1 point of corruption for digging into the library.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the clown, I really did roll a 23 to give you the one of the few results that would not have killed you, Marley. And I think I explained what happens when you do, but I think you just blow up and turn into confetti or glitter.
Oh God!
Yeah, it's extremely cool.
I don't remember that.
I don't think you did tell us that. Oh
okay.
Fuck!
Yeah,
that would have been so grim.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the principles of this campaign is customize it to your players too, and so that's why the backgrounds I was trying to invoke things that your characters have done or knew about, and that was one of the things I realized. I had all these each player character has a set of themes and ideas and concepts associated with them, so weave them into the campaign as much as possible, and that's sort of what I
really natural, honestly. Like if asked, aside from the ghouls, because you've outright admitted it, I doubt I could point at something and be like, yeah, this is where Ross put something in, because I mean, you did a great job just sort of fitting it all together.
Yeah, that's the thing about this campaign is that you really can't run it as written. You have to make some modifications to it. You have to it only really works when it's customized to your player characters, because they are the main characters. The spotlight is on them. It's all about them, because it's about whether what they think the campaign is about and what it's really about are two different things. What it's really about is, do they make the play happen, or do they not let the play happen by bringing the bottle to JC Lens? That's what the entire campaign rotates around. And if you don't do it, it's a very different thing. But it's all about the ending and whether or not this journey, whether or not you make the journey to make your own existence possible, which is a very surreal thing. And let's see here. So let's go on to session 7, which is the beginning of Act 3.
Wait, so when we fought the paper tiger in the like darkness of Dorchester House, I recall my companions being very exasperated by Jurgen's insistence on staying and proving his dominance over the beast.
Oh yeah, the paper tiger totally could have killed you too. That was actually
did that do anything good? Did that like reduce?
I mean, you got like sand back from killing it, didn't you?
Or, like,
you do get sand back. Yeah.
Okay, so he just felt good about it. Okay.
Yeah, he just felt good about it. Yeah, that I kept notes of all the sand. Yeah, killing anything doesn't reduce corruption. It's burning books, and like basically you lose corruption by saying fuck this, burn the books, stop looking into it, stop trying to make sense of it, reject it, and you gain corruption for trying to understand it.
So we essentially had a party of 2 people who were more likely to reduce corruption and 2 people who were extremely likely to make it worse.
That's actually a pretty good summary. Yeah,
I have another note. I have another note written down: paper tiger hidden bookshelf.
That's pretty good.
Like, I wrote so many notes for this fucking campaign, none of them useful. Do I know who people are? No. Do I know what happened last time? Not really.
Aw.
But you have a good idea of your response to things in the moment.
Yeah.
The paper tiger has 3 stat blocks based on how bright it is: night, dusk, and day. It always has the ability paper and junk. It's immune to firearm attacks. Explosives on fire are different. Explosives do full effect. Fire inflicts 2d6 damage per turn. Fire and explosives are enough to make it flee immediately. If you kill it, it comes back eventually. So yeah. But you feel good for killing it. And at night it's at its worst. It has like strength 35 hit points. Maul 2d8 does 2d8 plus 2 damage, armor piercing 1. Yeah, so it's very nasty, and you're not going to win a fight with it without extraordinary weapons. So yeah, session 7 where it gets really interesting, because the third act, once you escape from the Dorchester house, though you're no longer in the real world, if you ever were. Like it specifically says you're now it's how long does it take you to get to the hotel brothel bin? Until things are just going to get worse and worse and worse for you. But you've also changed as a result of going to the night world, coming back. You all gain powers and insights. So there's an entire table of it in the book. I think on 250 something, 260. Page 259 is where it starts if you want to look at it. But I picked your powers for the most part. So
your random table.
Yeah, no, I wanted ones that would be interesting and versatile, like ones that would make the game interesting. I knew I wanted at least one player to have the demon's power. As soon as I read the book, I was like, someone's got to have the demon's power, because I want the players to fuck with the demons, because the demons are very cool.
Someone who could possibly.
Well, by the time we got there, it was obviously had to be Yersinia. Like
maybe the bitch with the demon tattoos in real life.
Which
IRL
ones?
demon marked.
I have most alchemical and demonic sigils tattooed up my left arm. It's like a whole sleeve that I did.
Oh, damn.
Sick.
Well, I did not know that. Did you? Yeah. Yeah.
You gave me the fucking keys to the goddamn city with that. I was so happy.
Oh.
So what was so I assume that Marley was repeater.
Yeah, eventually I was originally I didn't give so basically I didn't want to roll them all at once. Like it wasn't gonna be like Captain Planet. Oh, no, have this power.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be more natural. So in the first session, or in session 7, I only mentioned Ryan has the mirror power, because I was easily able to have that trigger, because Ryan looked at himself in a mirror and, oh wait, that's weird.
That's money. Huh.
Yeah, that's money. And a lot of the times I was listening very carefully to your conversations, and whatever you're talking about, what you needed, what we're looking for, I was like, okay, well, I know what's going to show up next. And so like, oh, we need some money. He's like, oh, well, guess what, right? And Yersinia obviously had the demon powers. Originally I was going to make you the repeater, Jurgen. But
Jurgen, turns out, can't be killed.
Yeah, well, until he was almost dead, but not quite.
Only mostly dead.
He was only mostly dead, so it was very awkward. So I actually moved that over. So back in session 7, so originally, I was going to give Marley the 2 Carcosa power, which is like you just find things from Carcosa. And just like find links and clues and evidence and artifacts and things like that. So it was just a way to feed you leads and stuff like that. But a lot of corruption in this episode in session 7 after you escape. Everyone lost 4 for escaping Dorchester House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. +1 Marley for seeing herself in the hotel. +1 Jorgen for hunting the paper tiger, for choosing to go after it.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee.
Yeah, +1 Ryan for finding weapon. +2 Marley, you found out what the clown did.
I did.
Yeah, and that's permanent. That can never be reduced.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. +1 Marley for recognizing the demonic seal. +1 Ryan, or +1 Marley for recognizing the seal. +1 Ryan for realizing they're not eating in the night world.
Oh no!
God, all the various realizations of like time not working right, especially once we got to the hotel. But even ooh.
Yeah, +1 Yersinia for contacting Malthus, and +1 Ryan for using the mirror portal. So session 8, +1 everyone for going through the mirror, and +1 Yersinia for contacting Forrest / Dr. Dahlin, +1 to all but Yersinia for Mirror Restaurant, and +1 all but Yersinia for the hospital.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of mirroring when I first got that. I feel like I a lot of people with that accidentally.
Yep.
Well, I feel like it's after Jurgen was almost torn in half by like busting stitches. I think that made a little bit of gun shyness come up.
Yeah. So yeah, the static agents start showing up in chapter 3. The gas mask guys. You can also have regular Delta Green agents, what they call zip teams in the book, which are just regular Delta Green agents that show up and try and kidnap and then take you to an isolated site to kill you. But sometimes they drop you over to the police station, then it's an abandoned police station suddenly, and there's no one there. Chapter 3 is not structured. Like, it is just like a list of things that can't happen, and eventually you get to the hotel. Like, so a lot of chapter 3 I just kind of made up because the entire thing about Louisiana is suggested in the book, but what you found in Louisiana is entirely me. Like, the island doesn't exist. The hotel's not the resort there.
That makes sense after the fact, but at the time I would not have called that. It felt very it fit very well in with everything else in the campaign so far. Yeah.
And then of course session 9 was our special session, where we had to deal with Jurgen being in the hospital because Delta Green recovery rules are a bitch. You do not heal fast in that campaign, and you do not have.
That was such a unique and fun experience. In which I shat my pants like 5 times. Yeah,
I loved spectating that one. Cool.
I'm waiting until it drops like in the release schedule. I have not.
Thanks obviously to Caleb for fucking jumping in on it.
Yeah, I'm so bummed I didn't get a chance to spectate on that. That sounds wild.
The session 9. So basically at that point, like with the way at Delta Green, you heal very slowly, and until you're fully healed, you can't just go around strangling people. And you just pop your stitches and you bleed out. So I had Jurgen. So basically in my head, it was Jurgen was definitely going to survive. The question was whether he became a ghoul or a repeater. And of course you guys had no idea what a repeater was. So like, it was like, I just don't want to die. I want to fight on. And like, okay, well that makes sense. But
we can't kill Jurgen, not Jurgen.
And he fucking made it. He dragged himself bleeding by his fingertips to fall into a sewer.
Yep.
Where it's safe.
Yeah. I made, obviously that was all new material.
I think Rob had just gotten over COVID for that episode as well. So like your voice was so gravelly, like you had been shot multiple times.
Yeah, that's right. My voice was fucked up. I made it work.
I actually looked up like what kind of phrasing they use for incidents in hospitals, like what kind of due to an incident, we have activated our emergency plan, code silver. An external threat has been identified. Like I looked that up to get the wording right, and it's just a little goes a long way, right? Like weird phone calls and cryptic messages, and like you don't have to hint too much. And I just had the static agent, and I was like, well, that's enough, really. It's an immortal dude with a shotgun who's going to keep coming back, copy paste until he gets the job done. But once I realized, well, Jurgen's going to become a ghoul now. Okay, well, that's fine. But I really want someone to be a repeater. And there's only one person without a power left. And that's why in session 10, I just had a dude come up and shotgun.
Yeah, that was the perfect time for that to happen. Like that moment where like Yersinia
it was so good.
Wants her jacket back, and Marley just is like sitting there broken, and then I'm pretty sure I fail a perception check.
Yeah,
and everyone else hears a gunshot. Just, chills.
It also didn't feel forced, right? It was not like, Ross had to get it done. Like it felt like we hadn't been stalked for so long. It just happened. It's like, oh fuck, this is real. Yeah. Let's go. Like it put like flames under us. Like get the fuck out, kind of.
Yeah.
I think that really punctuated our feelings about the static agents, where it's like, they'll just kill you. They'll just kill you and find you, and then it's bad.
I mean, they do talk about, like, in the book, I was following the sort of guidelines where they had was like, have them show up at first in the distance and like have them get closer over time. Like, you just see someone in the distance, then you hear something, then someone, and then you see a reflection in the window nearby, and then they start shooting at you. So like, I use that same thing. Like, I think I hinted at them like 2 sessions, like the very first session you get out, I think you seize them or something like that. But yeah, I didn't want to like just, oh yeah, now there's guys with shotguns. No, like I definitely foreshadowed it.
What's a nice like, especially early on, there's the problem of having so many threads to pull, and the static agents showing up at a point where it's like, no, you just need to keep moving forward. Like they add a tension and a propulsion that I don't necessarily think we like had to be forced forward, but I think it adds a good just a good sense of momentum regardless.
Yeah, so that actually, that's how I approach like chapters 3 and 4, because they say like you just have to get to hotel in order for them to get to have a chance to get to Carcosa. But like they just, all these things can happen. So for me, I was like, well, this isn't enough. So I was like, you know what? They had that guy, Wist, or Mr. Wild, whichever one it was, say, oh, find out about this dude in Louisiana. So okay, I'll give them, I'll structure, I'll add my own structure. Yeah. If they do this, if they do a favor for Mr. Wist, then he will show them how to get to the hotel, or he'll take them to New York, and then they have to do one more thing, and then that will lead them directly to the hotel. So I added my own structure into it. So basically, it's more of a blank canvas in chapter 3 for you to impose a like after running so many sessions of Delta Green, I realized like the question I ask myself now is like, what are they doing in the game? What is the thing that they are doing? And like, what is the activity? And so like, when I get it down to that basic level, then I can start filling in the cool thematic stuff. But like, you have to figure out what is it you're doing. Are you like trying to find something, kill something, look here, find out what's going on in a place? Like there's a thing. And that's how I approach it. It's like, oh yeah, just find out about this dude in Louisiana, no problem. And it was easy. So yeah, the ghoul rules for Jurgen that I wrote out that you kind of figured out. You lose 1 sand every time you see sunlight.
Yay!
You can no longer regain sand for killing monsters or saving people. Gain 1 point of strength or con up to 24 per human consumed. I should have had you. I forgot about this one. Lose 1d3 sand every time you eat a corpse. Fully heal all damage if you eat a corpse.
I would have made that trade a couple times.
Yeah. Lose 1d6 sand for every week you don't eat a corpse.
That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Roll power times 5 every night. If you fail, have a dream. Make a sand check for nightmares. 0 1d6 sand. Those were the guidelines I did for ghoulification. And also, you just had to, yeah.
In relation to Jurgen ghoulification, I loved it because I think I felt like it leaned into Yersenia's perception of Jurgen as a dog.
Really did.
Yeah.
Something that didn't happen that I was kind of like keeping in the back of my mind, keeping my finger on the trigger. If Jurgen like needed to eat a dead body or something, I was going to have Yersinia saw off some of her fingers as a snack for Jurgen.
Aww.
True friendship.
Yeah. I kind of wish I had gone. I wish if I had known, I would have engineered something to make that happen. Yeah.
There's a couple different things where I was like, okay, this might happen. I don't know if it will. I won't pursue it, but if it does, I'm so ready.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention, now that I think about it, is one of the reasons I wanted to introduce other supernatural things, unnatural things into the campaign is to make Carcosa scarier, because the one thing I did was like have ghouls and Club Apocalypse in there because basically as soon as they know not to fuck with Carcosa, and as soon as they detect it, they're like, oh god, no, get away. And that's why you were banned from Club Apocalypse, Jurgen, and why the ghouls were so fucky about that. Like everyone knows Carcosa is the ultimate like cancer of everything, and just destroys, it consumes everything, and nothing escapes.
Listening to those early episodes and that guy who showed up to be like, you can't come to Club Apocalypse no more. Like, now that I understand the corruption mechanic, that made okay. I see.
And that's actually a named NPC from Delta Green Countdown in their write-up with the Club Apocalypse. The dude who fishes out bodies from the river and does, errands for the fate. Also the ghoul you've met in the cemetery, Marty, the guy with glasses, that's actually from a cult of ghouls that operates formerly in New Orleans. But Delta Green canonically like wiped them out, or like forced them to go underground during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. They sent in kill squads to like root them out. And I forgot what their name is. It's a family, a DeMonte clan. So a little cameo here from other Delta Green lore.
Very fun.
But in Corruption in session 10, +1 Marley for dying. Good job, repeater. -1 for all for using the fishing boat. Instead of using the mirror,
this was the point where it wasn't Marley. He was just like, maybe we shouldn't just keep going through.
Yeah.
It feels like every time we do supernatural shit, a gas mask guy murders me. So maybe we should do something else.
+1
Shocking moment of self-preservation concern for Marley.
And +2 for Yersinia for 2 demon summoning, Alistair and
I summoned
Renova.
2 that time?
Alistair and
right.
Renova.
Yeah.
Is this when you accidentally made yourself immortal?
Yep.
Oh no, I knew I was going to make myself immortal.
Oh, okay.
I had a plan from the moment I had the demon book. I was already concocting my fucking strategy. And so one of the things that I mentioned, I had my proverbial finger on the trigger of, is a couple times in the campaign up to that moment, we saw like previous versions of ourselves, like versions of us pre-time skip when we were younger. I got the impression that running into them would be a sort of like self-annihilation sort of thing, but I really, really, really wanted to see if I could meet up with my younger self and make her the one that doesn't age, and see if that affected present time.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have I feel like though you meet your previous self and that's game over. Like that's
there's nothing in the game about meeting you can see yourself, but that's it. Like there's no game, there's nothing you could add it. Like the thing about Impossible Landscapes, and Dennis I think in the interviews has said, is like, just add your own stuff. There's no like canonical version, just do whatever you want with it. It's there to fuck with, essentially. And the other demon you summon, the other demon you summon is the one who taught you Tartesian, I think. He gave you skills in something. That's
I
what
feel like
did.
Okay, no, maybe I summoned 3 demons that session, because I feel like I also, or maybe it was the next session where I asked about what the fuck was up with Marley after she died.
That was session 10. Let's take a look. You went to the island. Or you got the boat, and of course I had to add in other people like Emmeline showing up. Emmeline's not a major character at all in the book. Like she's there, but like I made her into a major character. Because I just like the idea of like, I just made it as a thing. It's like, World of Outdoors, of course your daughter's going to be reading it.
Because Amanda's not in the book either, right? Like,
it's 100% just me, because I wanted
to. Shocked me, by the way. I was floored by that.
The book does have a lot of things talking. There's this whole thing called Passing Strange for all these character write-ups, NPCs. Well, they talk about they have some inexplicable link to someone else connected to everything. And so, like, I just get, Amanda Fitzroy. Obviously, she's, family of Emmeline. And so, like, that's her Passing Strange. So, that is, and so I just grabbed in other names, and, I had Emmeline show up again and again because I liked her as a character, and I thought it was an interesting person to meet in the Night Wars. Not everyone wants to kill you; they just would have a conversation.
Yeah, that's what made her so fucking weird and compelling. Like, what is her deal?
She was an interesting character because she wasn't directly antagonistic, but by being part of this whole thing was regarded as antagonistic, I think. Like, she never did anything necessarily.
Well, because, like, your introduction to the book that she wrote was, like, Noya having read it when you called to check in. And so it's, like, this very threatening introduction to someone who is not actually a threat.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
it was, so good.
Yeah. I kind of use her in some ways kind of like a stand-in for the way Abby is described at the end of the book. As just kind of this vaguely helpful person, but they love they're fine with what's going on. So yeah, just enjoy the party. Session 11. Let's see here. This is where you're on the island. +1 corruption for Ryan for controlling the lion robot. +1 for Ryan for using the mirror. +1 Yersinia for person. So you summon the demon. I think that's the one who tells you about the other demons.
No, that was so I remember that. That was so after Marley died and came back, Yersinia was convinced that this Marley was fake. Or that this Marley was like somehow this isn't an end of game Marley. Like this
wrong Marley.
Yeah, wrong Marley. Is that
new Marley, who this?
Yeah, exactly. Is that in any way true? Was that suspicion like on the point? Like I don't know what the fuck the deal is.
It's the same Marley. Yeah.
Not all Marleys are made. Well, what do you mean?
Is Marley, I guess, doomed after that point? Like once she's is she doomed?
No, specifically the way the book is written, you can be most repeaters are 0. Once you become 0 san in a repeater, then you're fucked. But as long as you have some sanity points, you have a chance of escaping. It's slim, but cool. The basic campaign works if you want to boil it down to is get through all this bullshit to get to the Whisper Labyrinth. Find JC Lynn's bottle. If you can find JC Lynn's bottle, you can go to Carcosa. If you go to Carcosa, you can get to the palace. If you can get to the palace, you can get in with an invitation. Although the book is actually silent on where you get the invitation from, so I added that in myself. Like, exactly where. So you get in the palace, you get the Masquerade Ball, you give JC Lynn's his bottle. Then there are chances to escape if you get out before the king shows up. Otherwise, so there's 3 endings to the campaign: escape, consumption, and revelation. You can only escape if you've given JC Lynn's his bottle, because then he writes the play and makes it possible. Then if you do anything else, you're either consumed by the King in Yellow, either metaphorically or quite literally. There's an ending where he eats you. You turn into a tiny doll and he just eats you. Or you get this revelation and you 0 san, your mind is gone. And other horrible fates. That's the basic direction of the campaign. Person answers questions about the King in Yellow. So repeaters are normally 0 san people who are stuck in a loop and they go on and on and on and on forever. Now they're go on.
This was definitely the session where like I half was suspecting Marley of like now being corrupted or something, because it's just like, I don't know, Marley said that we should go to the airport and then Static did arrive. Are they following her? Is she like, can they see through her? Because she was killed, but I was like, there's something about Static that has corrupted Marley.
That's so good, because so this was the session where I had you at gunpoint. So we had two agents that were like, it was just fucking, that's good. I love that. I love that we were like turning on each other, but managed to hold cohesion barely.
That's the way that we reestablish our community bond, is by maybe killing each other close almost. Like
what was it session 5 or 6 where I had to introduce like rules for
I think it was 5.
Player versus I forgot. I don't know where my write-up is, but I did
like
do a
it turned into a Soderbergh movie all of a sudden.
So basically
after we burnt the house down, but like you guys were in the house, like
So basically, because what I remember is that Yersinia got the red book.
And Jurgen perceived Yersinia get the red book.
And I was concerned that they were going to kill each other in the next session. And which I was like, that's fine. But I just don't want it to be like one player waits for the other to go to sleep. It's like, I shoot them in the head. I want there to be a confrontation.
Honestly, mate, like, and it's hard to pick. But just in terms of like in the moment, like experience of playing this, maybe my favorite session. Just hunting like
good.
Yeah, because there's a big chunk of that AP that is just them talking to each other. Like,
I really like the relationship between Jürgen and Yersinia building as like
so good,
kind of antagonistic, but like check balance into like mutual respect.
Yeah, you two knocked me out that session. Like both of you are fucking champs. Oh
hell yeah!
Well, and that was part of the arc for Jürgen that I did not plan at the beginning. But like it became clear that like he was starting off as like a hurt animal in a corner by himself, like ready to bite whoever tries to touch him. But then like he slowly became more of a real person through his relationship with the other agents. But of course, the way things went, he ended up being a hurt animal alone, ready to bite whoever touches him by the end again.
Oh, that's really that actually fucking hurts.
And like, I really like, I do like the symmetry of like, essentially like, you would expect the escape from the play to be the false thing that gets pulled out from under a person. But in the Jürgen character arc, the escape from the play was more or less real. The escape from himself was what got pulled away from him.
Yeah, your reward is an eternity where you started. Like that's
fuck. Which again, since I was thinking of him in the vein of like literary naturalism of like Cormac McCarthy and Stieg Larsson and stuff, and so that was really satisfying to end it that way.
Yeah, can I just say I loved the endings for these characters. Like, to not to skip ahead too much, but just god damn the ending we hit.
I thought about that quite a bit on like how to structure it. Because it was very challenging. Like, what the fuck do I do? Because they have suggested endings, but they say again the main principle is customize it to the individual player characters.
Fuck you, Detweiler. You're not the boss of us.
So I used the existing endings as guidelines, but like everything else. And in fact, Ryan basically had a written ending. Like
default.
Yeah. That's actually the S ending. That's the best ending. Is like I mean depending on your point of view, right? Yeah, you escape. You can live the rest of your life. If Ryan gets to be a person and gets to have a family and gets to see his grandkids. And Delta Green doesn't know who he is. He's free.
Yeah. And of course, we all headcanoned that Noya ends up in Delta Green because she wonders where her mom went.
I would say that's probably that's pretty accurate.
And at some point Jürgen is going to end up like saving her life or protecting her as a ghoul.
Honestly,
from the shadows and eating someone.
Honestly, probably better than if Marley had shown up alone. I think Jürgen's a better parent at this point.
I feel like Marley would have just spiraled out of control.
Oh, it would have been bad.
Yeah, I was really I didn't know like exactly. I thought like Marley would choose. I wasn't sure if Marley would choose Noya or Yersinia, and I thought like, well, if you choose Noya, then you can't find Yersinia. But other than that, you can live. You'd be like Ryan. You could live your life. Like, but she's
a bad girl. She didn't listen to the end. I was this close. You can't see it, but I'm pinching my fingers together to telling Jürgen to take Marley out of the place.
Yeah.
He probably would have asked you if you were sure, but if you nodded to him, he probably would have done it.
Yeah. The thing is though, the question is then if Marley, if Jürgen, how would that have played out? Because the thing is, the way it's written is also if you delay or hesitate when you're trying to escape, you have to make a skill check to still go through, and you fail that, you're stuck. Like, you cannot hesitate. So
I'm going
Marley
to cause problems. Like as you all may have noticed when we got to the ball, my mission became I am going to cause problems on purpose.
Yeah. So unless Marley went with you automatically, or if you crit succeeded on knocking Marley out.
Oh yeah, no, I would have probably had to choke her.
What was it? What was it that I was on your sheet, Faye? The anchor? Yeah, I would have been everyone's anchor in that situation.
Yeah, you could have dragging
all you fuckers down with me.
Yeah, so we'll get back to the ending when we get to that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So let's see here. Session 11, and then Marley actually lost to corruption for we shouldn't use mirrors speech. I think that was on the plane to New York. And then session 12, again, the whole thing about like painting the L sign on the side of a building or like using the lights to do that is suggested in the book as one of the possible chores you can do. It's like, oh well, that's obvious, you do that up and that lights the beacon to Gondor, right? You can see the hotel, and then everything shit hits the fan. Let's see here. Corruption, +1 in session 12, +1 Yersinia for opening the night floors, awakening it. Good job there.
Oh, God, that was a moment. When the dog comes out.
+1 Marley for summoning Alistair. Good job on the regular summoning. Preliminary invocation. I'm glad somebody got to do that so we could see what that was like.
A dark song. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, great movie. You should see that.
Yeah, watch that if you haven't. Everyone.